911, what is the location of your emergency?
He's here. He's here. He's outside.
Who is outside, Michaela?
My ex. I have order of protection against him.
What's going on? Michaela, what's happening?
He just shot her. Hurry up.
What happened?
Send the ambulance. Send the ambulance. Send the ambulance.
Where is she shot?
I can't tell. Please. Oh my God. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord.
We are happy about the policy changes, but of course, we do wish that they could have been implemented before November 15th of 2021, the day Michaela was taken from us and the day that we were failed tremendously by Metro Nashville Police Department.
What is the exact weight of a promise? Not a promise made between lovers, but the promise a society makes to its most vulnerable. The promise that a piece of paper signed by a judge is more than just paper, that it is a shield. For 24-year-old Michaela Carter, that promise was spelled out in black and white. An order of protection against her estranged husband, James Leggett. It promised that he would not contact her, not come near her, and most critically, not possess a firearm. But on a November night in 2021, that promise was tested. And in the 10 minutes between when police left her home and when a 911 call captured her final, desperate words, we learned a devastating lesson about what happens when a shield is treated as just a piece of paper.
Oh my God. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord.
This is not just the story of a murder. This is the story of a system that saw the storm coming, pointed to the forecast, and then left the window open. Welcome to True Crime Unraveled. If you're new here, you've come to the right place. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the cases that demand more than just headlines. Before she was a victim, Michaela Carter was an anchor. That's the word her mother, Kimberly Jones Mbuyi, uses. She was the beautiful, steadying presence in her family, the one with a smile that could light up a room. She was the kind of person who, on vacation, would pack extra clothes, not for herself, but just in case someone else needed something. That's who she was. Always looking out for people. She had known James Leggett since they were teenagers. In the beginning, it was all laughter and dancing. But over time, the picture soured. The man she had eloped with in 2020 became controlling, volatile. The family saw a Jekyll and Hyde personality emerge. The final breaking point came in July 2021, when, during an argument, Leggett beat Michaela in the face with a glass bottle of Jack Daniels. Sitting in a hospital bed, her face swollen and stitched, Michaela made a decision that took immense courage. She told police everything. She revealed a history of abuse, of being isolated, of being convinced her family didn't love her. She said the situation had gotten so bad, she felt the only way out was if one of them were dead. But now, she was choosing a different way out. She was choosing to leave. She pressed charges and she petitioned for an order of protection. It was granted. The system, on paper, was now fully engaged. James Leggett was arrested, and thanks to probation violations from prior felony convictions for robbery and burglary, he stayed behind bars. For a few months, there was a fragile peace. But when Michaela held that order of protection in her hand, she saw it for what it too often is. She turned to her sister and said, "This is just paper. This is just a piece of paper. He can shoot me through this piece of paper." The question is, why did she feel that way? Did she know something the system refused to see? James Leggett was released from jail on November 5th, 2021. For 10 days, the pressure built. He started calling, texting. Then the digital threats began. On social media, he posted, "Somebody with nothing to lose won't give a F when SH gets real." The next morning, the message was even more chilling. "Today is the day." Michaela saw these posts. She knew what they meant. She wasn't operating on a hunch. She was reading the blueprint of her own potential murder. On November 15th, the day Leggett had promised would be the day, he was spotted lurking near a relative's apartment complex. He had a gun. This is where the first critical failure occurs. Michaela and her mother, Kimberly, didn't wait. They fled their home and called 911 from a parking lot.
He's outside walking around with a gun. We have an order of protection against him, and I'm pretty sure he's looking for my daughter because my niece lives in those apartments.
How do you know this person, ma'am?
It's my ex-husband. It's my daughter's husband, estranged husband. He just got out of jail like last week. James Leggett. Are they seven people? Yeah, but they have to ask you all this.
What is he wearing right now?
We didn't see him, so I'm not sure what he's wearing. He's outside, and I told my niece not to go back out there.
All right, how did you know that he has a gun?
Yeah, he's 6'6". He's a black guy, brown skin, low cut hair. Not low, but it's a little bit of hair. Yeah, he's really tall.
All right, how did you know that he has a gun?
Because they seen him. He's been posting on Facebook, and he's not even supposed to contact my daughter, but he's been sending her crazy messages since 9 o'clock this morning.
So you're not sure that he's outside? Because you haven't seen him, right?
Oh yes, I'm sure he's outside with a gun.
But did you saw him with a gun?
My niece did. I'm headed over here now, but I'm kind of scared to go.
What's the name of the apartment?
He's seen him outside with the gun.
They met officers. They showed them the terrifying social media posts. They pointed out that Leggett, a convicted felon, was violating the order of protection by merely contacting her and by having a firearm. But the officers on the scene didn't make an arrest. They said they didn't have what they called sufficient personal knowledge to prove he had violated the order. Let that sink in. A judge's order, explicit social media threats, and a report of a felon with a gun were not enough. Instead, the officers escorted Michaela and her mother home so she could grab her ID and a copy of the protection order. According to the family, the officers even suggested that if she saw Leggett with a gun, she should try to take a picture. The police did a sweep of the yard, found nothing, and then they left. The shield, the promise of protection, drove away in a squad car. So, what happens when the cavalry leaves you behind? For Michaela Carter, the clock started ticking. She had a green camouflage backpack packed, a go-bag for a life on the run from the man who was legally supposed to be kept away. She never got to use it. 10 minutes. That's all it took. 10 minutes between the police clearing the scene and the sound of the front door being kicked in. Michaela and her mother ran into a bedroom and locked the door. Kimberly had her phone. She was trying to take that picture the officers had suggested, but her hands were shaking too hard. Michaela called 911. Again. What follows is one of the most agonizing 911 calls you will ever hear. It's not dramatic music and screaming. It's the slow, bureaucratic unraveling of a life. For the first 3 minutes, Michaela is whispering, her voice tight with terror. He's here, he's here. The police just left, but he's here. And the dispatcher keeps asking questions. How do you spell his name? What's his date of birth? What is he wearing? You can hear the desperation creeping into Michaela's voice. Are you sending somebody? Did you already send somebody? The dispatcher doesn't answer directly. She says she has to ask these questions for officer safety. 2 minutes in, Michaela pleads, "Can you just send somebody?" 3 minutes in, her mother takes the phone. He just busts the door down. Then the sound. A boom. The bedroom door being forced open. Screams. The unmistakable, sharp pops of gunfire. Michaela's stepfather, Shebangam Bui, who had been a father to her since she was 2, threw himself in front of her. He was shot 3 times. He would later say he took those bullets for her. Then Michaela was hit. Twice. Once in the chest, once in the leg. She fell to the floor. The 911 call captures her mother's guttural, world-shattering screams. It captures Michaela's voice, fading from screams to slurred, labored moans. "Ambulance," she slurs. "Help me. It's getting hard. It's getting hard to breathe." Paramedics arrived. They rushed her to the hospital. She fought for a week, but the wounds were too severe. Michaela Carter died on November 22, 2021, one day before her 25th birthday. The anchor of her family was gone. In the wake of such a loss, a family has two choices: succumb to the grief or channel it into a fight for change. Kimberly Jones Mbui chose to fight. She filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Metro Nashville Police Department. The language was blistering. It accused the department of deeply disturbing and predictably fatal negligence. The lawsuit stated that officers had privately joked about the social media threats and falsely told Michaela they couldn't arrest Leggett. The family's attorney put it in the plainest terms possible: they got her killed. The city of Nashville eventually settled. In early 2024, the Metro Council approved a $250,000 settlement. But the money was almost secondary. As part of the agreement, the MNPD was forced to change its policies. They now must issue a rapid be on the lookout alert for suspected order of protection violators. They must ensure body cameras are on when providing domestic violence victims with resources. These are changes written in Michaela's blood. But what of James Leggett? He was charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and a host of other charges. He sat in prison, awaiting his day in court. That day would never come. In July of 2024, the Tennessee Department of Correction announced that James Leggett had died in his cell at the Riverbend Maximum Security Institution. His cause of death is still pending. There would be no trial, no verdict, no moment of courtroom accountability for Michaela's family. When asked for her reaction, Kimberly Jones Mbui's response was a testament to her character. She said she could never wish death on anyone, but noted, James can no longer hurt anyone else ever. Her focus remained on healing and on ensuring her daughter's voice was not silenced. So, where is the unique angle in this tragedy? It's in that 10-minute window. It's in the chasm between a policy and its execution, between a law on the books and the human discretion that interprets it. This story isn't about a mysterious killer or a whodunit. We know who did it. This story is a forensic autopsy of a systemic failure. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. Why is a felon's social media threat not considered sufficient personal knowledge? Why is the burden of proof on the victim to take a picture of her armed stalker, rather than on the armed stalker who is violating a court order? Michaela Carter's case is a stark example of a horrifying statistic. An analysis by WPLN and ProPublica found that of at least 75 domestic violence homicides in Nashville since 2007, nearly 40% were shot by people who were already legally barred from having a gun. The laws exist. The paper shields exist. But there's often no one checking. The system operates on the honor code for men who have no honor. Michaela did everything right. She left. She reported. She got the order. She called the police. And the system, at every critical junction, failed to match her courage with competence. Michaela Carter's story is a haunting reminder that the most dangerous gap in our justice system isn't a legal one. It's the gap between leaving a victim's home and the moment the abuser kicks the door down. It's a gap measured not in miles, but in minutes and in missed opportunities. Her family's settlement has led to policy changes in Nashville, a legacy that will hopefully save others. But policy is only as good as the people who enforce it. It requires every officer to respond with the urgency that Michaela's situation desperately warranted, but did not receive. So, what do you think? Was this a case of individual officer error, or does it point to a deeper, more systemic apathy towards the threats faced by domestic violence victims? How do we close that 10-minute window for the next Michaela? We read every single comment on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, and we are so grateful for this community. Your engagement is what drives us. Please share your thoughts below. Let's keep this crucial conversation going. If this story impacted you, if you believe these deep dives are important, please do us a huge favor and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that this is content worth sharing. And for more stories that unravel the truth behind the headlines, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled on YouTube and follow True Crime Unraveled TV on Facebook and TikTok. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.
All comes in.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
She's here. She's here. She's outside.
Who is outside, Michaela?
My ex, I have order of protection against him.
It's here. What's going on? Michaela, what's happening? What happened? Where is she shot?
I can't tell, please. Oh my God. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord.
We are happy about the policy changes, but of course, we do wish that they could have been implemented before November 15th of 2021, the day Michaela was taken from us and the day that we were failed tremendously by Metro Nashville Police Department. These policy changes are only a part of the solution. We need every officer to respond to every domestic violence call with compassion, with empathy, and with intention.